Good morning, Tottenham fans. Big changes happening at Spurs. It seems like every day a different person gets sacked. I'm hoping this is because the board have now realised that, or Enic have realised that the way this club is being run is not good enough. Maybe they realise the fans do need to start coming first. Maybe they've realised that the team needs to start coming first. Maybe all this shouting Levy out and the protests and the fans against the club has woken them up. But only time will tell on that. I'm not holding my breath, but I would like to see the positive signs. You wouldn't make this many changes in a club if you didn't want it to be different. So I'm hoping it's going to be different going forward, and I'm hoping we have to suffer this little bit of pain now, like losing Ange and things like that, and Ryan Mason and all these sort of things that have to happen for us to push on as a club and start becoming serious, hopefully. The reason why I talk about this is because I was looking on Twitter, well, they call it X now, and they've got this page called the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust, and they've come up with 5 principles that us as fans demand of the board. And if they're not adhering to these principles, then we have a right to voice our concern and voice our protests. So these 5 principles are: commit to winning, attract and retain talent, future-proof success, lead with integrity, and fans first. Now, I'm smirking a little bit because I know what you're all thinking. They're not really doing a lot of that, are they? So let me just get into those 5 and I'll give you my thoughts on them. So commit to winning. First of all, let's give them some credit. I nearly choked just thinking about giving them credit there. Let's give them some credit. They stuck with Ange when a lot of fans were loud about getting him the sack, and they stuck with him and we ended up winning the trophy. So if that's committed to winning, then that's cool. So we'll give them credit for that. But let's talk about other things like they've done in the past. So Jose Mourinho, sacked him before a final. A multi-cup winning trophy. You bring him in for the sole purpose of winning trophies, and a week before he had a chance to do so, you sack him. For me, that's not winning mentality. Conte comes in, he's a win now manager. That's what you called him, a win now manager. Didn't give him the tools to win now. He even got us into the top 4. It was only a couple of points from top 4, and you sacked him. Pochettino, regularly in the top 4, got us to a Champions League final, didn't back him for 3 windows, and then you sacked him and blamed it on him. So again, is that winning mentality? We've now got a manager that, regardless of how much he's been backed, still won a trophy, and you still sacked him. Where's this winning mentality coming from? So for me, this committed to winning is a bit, I had to give this 1 out of 10, I think, because we're not really committed to winning, are we? Instead of backing them, and instead of building on success, instead of building something going forwards with managers and giving them time, you just sack them every 2 seasons. Regardless of what they do, you sack them. We've had top 4 managers. We've had Champions League final managers. We've had trophy winning managers, and you still don't think that's good enough. Every 2 years, see you later. That's not committed to winning in my books. Every single player came out and spoke about Ange today. Statements from every single player saying, "Thank you, Ange, brilliant coach." You know, all behind him. So again, you had the whole club behind this manager. You had a huge fan base behind this manager, but you decided to not listen to the fans or the players and sack him, because that's what you do every 2 years. I've never seen such a closeness between manager and players other than the Poch days. They've killed the family feel, the brothers in arms, the winning mentality, the belief they can win more trophies. They've killed that within the space of a couple of weeks. So for me, winning mentality is non-existent at the moment for this board. The second part was attract and retain talent. Now, yes, we attract talent, but we attract young talent. Most of the time, it's 18-year-olds or younger. But if our aim is to retain talent, then why is their objective to make sure that they have a sell-on value? So make sure they're young enough to be able to sell on. It's very contradictory. You can't be aiming to retain talent if your sole purpose for buying that player is to be able to sell it on for a profit. Sell him on for a profit. We sold Harry Kane, one of our own. We bought Bale, sold him for a profit. We sold Modric when he hit his prime. The list goes on and on and on. I can name 100 players. We also have come so close so many times to having the perfect side. A few more additions and we could have gone on to win trophies. This goes back to the winning mentality of the board. Instead of building around these players, they just end up selling them. And we have to start again. The third thing is future-proof success. Third principle, future-proof success. Like I said, we will sell anyone who becomes good at Spurs for a profit. We have no intention of building on their talents. Also, if you don't give a manager more than 2 seasons, how do you expect to build success in the future? We continue to start rebuilds every 2 years. That's not future success for me. It's just going backwards and continuing to rebuild and giving each manager that comes in no chance of building anything. You're really not. The only time we won something was in the second season with Ange Postecoglou, and you panicked over league form and got rid of him. Also, how can you have future success when you don't want to buy world-class players? Like I said, you want to keep buying them young and hope they turn into world-class players. And if they don't, they get sold for less, for not even profit. And if they do turn into world-class players, you sell them immediately. So, apart from Harry Kane, he stayed, but he was one of our own, and that's the reason why he stayed longer. If he was anyone else, he would have been sold a lot sooner. We are behind in every metric when it comes to signings, players. We are always waiting to the last minute. We're trying to get the bargain buys. We're trying to wait for clubs to become desperate before we put in an offer. While clubs around us, they're all trying to buy now, improve their squad, improve their first team, get better and improve from the season before, whilst we are happy to sit back and do nothing until the last minute. Fourth principle was lead with integrity. I thought, are they joking with this one? The board to lead with integrity. There's no leadership up above whatsoever. Prime example, we get to a Champions League final and Daniel Levy buys watches for the whole team before the final that says Champions League finalists. If that's not a loser mentality, then what is? A leader communicates. When do we ever hear from the board, especially Levy, apart from when he's sacking someone? Or when do we hear them when we've won something? How many statements has Levy bring out thanking the players, thanking Ange? There's not many, is there? You don't really hit it from the board. But a leader will always communicate. A leader has vision. What vision have we seen in the last 25 years? We've got 2 trophies. One of them was just very recently because Ange disagreed with the board to say, I'm going to focus on this trophy because I don't believe the squad will be strong enough with all these injuries to compete on all fronts, which he had turned out to be correct, and he ended up winning a Europa League. They didn't like it. They sacked him. So again, Ange had the vision. The club had the vision of they just want to finish in the top 5. That's the only vision they've got. Ange sacrificed his job to give us glory. He sacrificed. He knew he was going to lose his job by defying the board, defying Enic, defying Levy, but he wanted us to have that glory day, so I always thank him for that. A leader will have integrity. So So lead with integrity. Let's talk about integrity. We were told we are building the stadium so we can compete. We are worse now than we was before we had that stadium. Before we had that stadium, we was competing for titles. Now we finished 17th. So the integrity of that lie already is priceless. Look at this. Ticket prices have risen while standards of the football club have dropped. How's that integrity? So our club, you're putting less into the club, thinking more about your concerts and your American football, but you're charging us more money for watching the actual games. They're telling fans that we want success on the pitch, but they're focusing everything on non-football events, sorry. So they're focusing on non-football events, but they're telling us they want success on the pitch. Integrity is out the window. You just constantly keep lying to us. They're telling fans they care, but at the same time, they raise ticket prices. They never communicate on anything at the club. They pay themselves very high wages, for example, a £3 million bonus for Daniel Levy, and they say they can't afford the discounts for the elderly. See what I'm saying? No leadership, no integrity at the moment. And all this rounds off to the last principle. All of what I've just said. Fans first is the fifth principle. Non-football events, discounts for the elderly, never signing world-class players, never listening to the fans, never communicating with the fans, sacking managers every 2 years, very poor planning when it comes to transfers and managers, focusing on money, not trophies, selling our best players for profit instead of building around them, not backing managers, holding them accountable for not winning. But even when they do win, they'll get sacked anyway. Maybe as we are getting people out the door like Donna Cullen, Scott Munn, other people in the board, maybe things will change. We're getting Vinay in now. Maybe his stamp of authority now is trying to change things. Maybe he is known for being for the fans, so maybe he is now trying to change things and say this is a massive problem, it needs to be changed. But at the moment, everything I've spoken about today, they are not doing. And I know for a fact, if things start going wrong next season for the next manager, if it is Thomas Frank, fans will turn very, very quickly on the board. I promise you. And I think it'll be everyone this time. It won't be just bits here, bits there. I can't trust anything the board are saying at the moment. I really can't. They have no ambition. They've got no communication. The wage structure is one of the lowest. The quality of signings are always youngsters and hoping they turn into world-class players. And most importantly, they're not putting their team first. They're not. They're putting everything else to make money above the team. I just can't see a future in this board, in this Enic, in this Daniel Levy. I can't see a future where we succeed anymore. It's either they need to go or all these changes mean something. Is it going to mean something for this club? Are they finally waking up? Are they finally seeing that these fans, these 250 fans that were on that street parading that trophy, are they finally seeing how big a club we are and we need to start taking things seriously? We really do. So I'm hoping this is a positive step in the right direction. Still gutted about Ange Postecoglou, but if in the bigger picture they did this for the bigger picture to be better in the future, I'm happy with that. But like I said, I'm not going to hold my breath. Let's just hope they've learnt from their mistakes now. It's been 25 years. You need to realise these fans are the bread and butter of your massive business. Let me know in the comments what you think of this video. Thank you for watching, and come on you Spurs.